up, guys? The X-Whatever here. And today, I'm doing this video, but however, I want to tell you guys, I did this video twice, but the bad news is it kept, turning off, my phone kept shutting down, so, yeah. Anyway, this is my story. This is the story I came up with. So, I will start at the beginning. When Skynet sent the T-800 after John Connor's mother, it decided to send the experimental Terminator that looked nothing like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just looked like this. Small, but completely stronger than any normal Terminator. It's somewhat of a prototype, but experimental still. The T-850. Skynet was already working on the T-850 before John Connor sent, his dad back into the future. But they had a preparation to send the T-850 after him. Since this Terminator was more advanced than the previous T-850s, it had more awareness, to be precise. The modules in his brain were more advanced than any normal Terminator. It will run 5 times faster than any normal Terminator. And the processors in its brain are actually able to program new directives in case the directives are damaged or completely destroyed. And this is why Skynet made a function, and not a repair factor, being more precise. However, the human skin covering the Terminator will be there. The knives will only repair the machinery in the human skeleton, but not the skin. The skin will automatically grow, but the more the Terminator knows and evolves, the faster the healing factor you see. If he learns and adapts more quickly than they previously predicted, then the Terminator will be a complete success to Skynet. However, this may prove a bit difficult to keep them under control, but Skynet decided to send this one out. And this is when the model name came out, activating model 108. Deku walked to the platform, and just doing that going on the pose, putting his hands down and kneeling his head down, like he's bowing. Machine activates. John Connor's team just arrives on time. John Connor shoots the wire that should actually be able to send one person back into the future, into the past. However, when John Connor shot the wire, Skynet was still calculating the coordinates. And when the Terminator was sent back, John Connor said, I was pretty close when another Terminator would have ensured my mother's death, because my mother couldn't handle 2. She could handle 1, but not 2. Now, Deku, of course, the model was named Deku, the most ultimate Terminator. Anyway, a blue spirit just appeared out of the sky, sucking all moisture out. Deku falling towards into a plane, knocking the wing, making the wing shred off of it. Deku hitting the wing crashes into a garbage into a garbage thing. To the garbage. What's it called? A garbage thing. Like a garbage area where it's a lot of old machinery, where people throw out the garbage. And when the plane hit him, it destroyed some of Deku's processors. But not the processors that he will be able to learn. But the chip was a bit damaged than normal. And yes, the T-850 had more power source than the T-850's other ones. The power source could replenish, but it takes a long time for them to recharge. And yeah, Deku was sent into the world of, Deku was in the world of UA, or Hero Academia. Where quirks, he's back in the past where quirks were never a thing. However, the years passed by, because Deku was in some sort of a coma state. Because half of his chip was damaged so he decided to repair it by going to sleep mode. Over time, most of the trash and people neglected that Deku was even there, because there's some workers that didn't even know Deku was there in the garbage. They just piled more and more garbage on him. Deku's eyes began rebooting. Says, "Process complete. Repair time unknown." Of course, Deku didn't know what time it is because the chip was so badly damaged it couldn't keep up with the years or the time. Deku got out of the trash and he looked at his throat. He found some old raggedy clothes. He took them. Not like these, but more advanced. And Deku tried to see his orders. Orders to kill, or order, and Deku is seeing this error. And the orders are like saying, and Deku sees the orders like, order unknown. Deku decides to sit there, wait for and restore for any orders. And this is when Deku started to be more aware of his surroundings. Deku saw a book. He looked at the book. It was about human biology and quirks. And it was a very old book, because they didn't need those books anymore, because they had the internet. So Deku decided, because the Terminator's curiosity or its intelligence needed to know about this world. When he opened the book, it showed a date. And Deku analyzed it. He kept reading the book for a long time. Of course, Deku still looks young in this because the human cybernetics in his skin don't age like regular Terminators. Skynet purposely saw an error for giving Terminator's flesh. They realized that the flesh will begin to deteriorate the more Terminator ages. Not ages, that the skin actually ages. But they found a little process just to halt the aging, but to slow it down at the same time. As Deku was done reading the book, Deku put the book down. He noticed that the garbage area was abandoned for at least till the time Deku was there. They shut down in the 1930s. Yes, Deku was in that time period. And since Deku had his nanos repairing his complete system, his skin grew back. And yes, this is what Deku will look like as a Terminator. And this is where Deku just comes out, it's like, who's there? Like that. And Deku proceeds to see and question, why is he here? Deku tries going to his databanks, because he tried to remember what happened. He remembered John Connor shot the terminal, and then a piece of metal, from when Deku was falling, he hit the engine, and those people didn't die. Okay, guys, there's only a few people that were injured and severely crippled, but none of them died. Of course, Deku analyzed the situation. Deku needed information. So, Deku decided to make an antenna to connect it to the internet. Since Deku's design is more advanced than the Terminators, he was granted the ability to hack into any network. And this gave him complete control over anything. But it has limited time. He may be an advanced unit, but he needs to be more evolved, more aware, more agile, more smarter, more intelligent. So the best way for this was to make something like a satellite dish. Deku found a wooden a pan. He bent it to look like a satellite dish, an antenna from an old TV, or a radio, or the signal, or the antenna, or whatever. He jammed it in. And that's what he was looking over, because he found an old blowtorch. but it was a bit more decayed than usual. It wasn't decay, just the the flamethrower like berry thing was actually out of order. So Deku swapped it out, switched the container, which was holding like all the stuff in it, like the methane gas. Deku starts looking in the trash. He finds another one, but in perfect condition. He scans it and looks when it says, as now it says 50% filled, useful. And that's when Deku put the thing, twisting it onto the blowtorch, and Deku just holds out the pan. Now just like that. And Deku's done with his antenna. Now he needs something to hold it. He looks at the garbage. He finds some parts and bolts just to make a little satellite, just like a little tower. Deku did this, but Deku realizing his power. This is where he finds a very old bulldozer. He checks the battery unit. And Deku says, huh, this should have been decayed a long time ago, but this battery's still good. And this is the first time Deku's actually talking, using words that mean nothing. And this is when Deku realized he talked for the first time. Deku talked more and more to himself every time, and it just fascinated him that he was talking of his own volition. The more he talked, the more, let's just say, the more of a consciousness grew on him. The more he thought, the more he talked, the more time he realized that he's freed. He's no longer a slave to anyone. And Deku tried to think of Skynet scenarios. Why did it attack the humans first? Why couldn't it make peace with them? And this is the first time ever Deku's have really deep thought with this. But never mind that. Deku needed information. And yes, this was all going on in Deku's head. Because Deku's mind, it can actually process, its time's much more slower in his head because Deku has achieved that. He can analyze scenarios before time even like begins moving. Like when a door blows off, it's super slow. He's like thinking of a strategy like super fast. And of course, this is where Deku finds a very old suitcase when he's trying to look for like wires or wire things for the battery. He opens it and he finds these clothes. Deku decides to put them on. Just says, these probably won't do. They are a really good fit, but I like them for some reason. Sorry guys, I don't know what's happening because if you guys hear that, then I just had to fix my mic a bit, so I'm sorry. Anyway, he began to say like, these feel like I was meant to wear them. Deku saying. As soon as Deku got the antenna up, he pulled a wire out of his back and hooked it up into the satellite. Now Deku accessing everything in the world. Satellites, to TVs, to phones, to tablets. He began connecting to everything. The amount of information he was getting was so much that his CPU was actually processing all the data. When Deku was finished, the machine exploded, pushing Deku, crashing him into a car, a really old car. And then Deku having to get out of it. And Deku knows that there was a piece of metal in his arm. He pulled it out. And Deku notices like, damn. So my hand's kind of fucked up. Deku decides to find some tools in the old bulldozer. And there was a wrench, some tweezers, not like, like really big tweezers for construction, wire cutters, and some stuff, and some metal gear. Deku proceeds to cut a big chunk in his left arm and open it. He sees the problem. One of his little one of his little circuits is damaged. So Deku gets out and tries to find a replacement. I know, but there's no technology in there yet, like Mr. X. But hey, the tech that his whole body is really advanced, but his arms can easily be repaired. Deku finds the part, but he notices it was really decayed. And that's when Deku decided to actually take the piece out of his arm and the other one, because the piping was fine, just the circuit was damaged. So Deku had to take that piece out, disabling his arm, and Deku having to repair it by hand. Deku succeeded in this. However, Deku noticed the chip was kind of old. But Deku decided to take the old chip and put it down, and the other, the advanced chip, and combine them. So it could actually be the same thing. It would level the circuitry. When Deku did this, it worked. His hand felt as good as new when he put the part back in. But his hand felt different. It felt more stronger, better than it usually was. When Deku looked at the person who made this, it said from UA, and it said failed prototype. And Deku cited whoever this person was. They have pretty good technology. Deku decided to copy this information and do it to his other hand. His hand now feeling a bit more stronger than it usually is. And the chip is actually from UA. The person that made all Eva and Deku stuff? Let's just say the chip, because it was her first failed baby experiment. So she decided to throw it out and not to look away from it. When she threw it out, she was actually missing one key component, a power source. And Deku being the perfect power source. When Deku put those chips in, let's just say his metal, the whole endoskeleton felt stronger than it ever was. Deku tried lifting a rock. I know guys, but T-50s can't, T-850s can lift rocks. But it wasn't a rock, a normal rock, guys. It was a boulder. Deku lifted a boulder with ease, with 1 to 2 fingers. And Deku threw it down a mountain. Deku was like, whoa, that's pretty good. And he's like, oh. Deku decided to look more for that anymore abandoned stuff. But there's only one. That was the only prototype. However, Deku found the prototype's pieces for the legs, and Deku decides to take some of the parts and open up his endoskeleton bit and put them in his legs. His legs began to become more stronger, faster than they normally are. Even his legs, he can jump really higher than normal in the normal 850s. This is when Deku found another prototype, because her whole suit was a prototype. I can't remember the girl's name that wears goggles, and when the door explodes, she lands on Deku. Can someone tell me her name? Please tell me in the comment section, please. It's May or something, I can't remember. But as Deku, I know there's music playing in the background. My mom's playing music, and I'm doing a video, guys. So if someone were to cut out that video, I really would appreciate it. And yes, guys are saying, why is your mom playing it so loud? I don't know. I think she's just stupid. Sorry, Mom, no offense, but I'm doing a video, and you're it's really loud. Anyway, the T-850 began to take pieces of the torso and put it into his body. Now Deku noticing that his body can stand up to more resistance than normal. Deku tests this with a spear going at a really high speed, and when it comes in contact with Deku's chest, the thing breaks into several pieces, like to dust. And Deku takes this, like, grabs the dust and like begins like pinching it, like says, "Huh. So this was a prototype, man." He is actually saying like, "I'm impressed. She threw this out without finding an actual power source." The only Deku's kind of laughing at it. It's like, the only power source she needed was me. My power source was the perfect fit for this. And this is where Deku finds the final piece of the helmet. Because Deku's eyes have been always red, and the surroundings he's looking at is completely red. Because T-850s have red vision. And Deku looks at the helmet and sees like the eyes are different than normal. However, Deku can change his eyes color at will, so Deku decides to take some of the pieces and install them onto his body. He sees the neural link thing on the thing. He rips it out. He cuts his neck so deep that the endoskeleton is exposed. He puts it in, and all of a sudden the neural link began drilling itself into Deku's endoskeleton. And when Deku did that, the chips reacted, and so did the other parts. And the torso, all of them were like linked now. And Deku turned his like arm around, like Deku could never could. And Deku notices that his body's like really strong. Stronger than it was when he installed the chips. It was like the chips are actually holding some actually strength back. Because cybernetics. So Deku decided to take the pieces off the goggles. Deku cut his eyelid out, but making sure it would still be there. He put it into a jar. The Deku made this jar specifically preserving the flesh. And of course, Deku ripped, like, know what Deku did? He ripped out one of his auxiliary eyes, but he ripped it out like in a manual. He ripped one out, and he put it down, and he began like dismantling it and installing like the hardware on it. When Deku turned it on, it was red, but when Deku put it in, you saw color, and not like the T-1000 where you like not T-1000, the T-850 where you just see like a bunch of numbers. So yeah, when Deku put it in, he's like saw, was like, what is this color? Is what I look like? Deku like looks at his hands. He touches them with his like left eye, and Deku decides to grab the piece of the eye with his eyelid and put it back in. And Deku closing his eyes using the nanoids to actually make sure the eyelid's perfectly in position. And when Deku opened his eyes, the eyelid was perfectly in place. And you guys are saying, but X, you said the machinery. Well, the eyes actually is part of the machinery. Because the eyelids are kind of like flesh, but they're kind of like an essential for the Terminator to make them blend in more. So, Deku kind of evolved from making the nanoids to repair his complete system to just his eyeballs just to repair them. But however, that's all Deku could do for now, because that's how much information he has in his head. Deku seeks to do the same thing to his right eye. And then when he does that, he sees color, and Deku just says, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually like this person's tech. And yes, this baby was so advanced that there's no one in the world that wanted to use it, and the power source was it for it. The power source for it never existed into this timeline. And Deku analyzed the data he got before. He already knew about the quirks, and he predicted what type of quirks he might encounter into the world. As Deku being the genius he is, I'm gonna start my flashlight on. Anyway, Deku said, huh, "This is gonna be fun." Deku proceeded to Deku proceeds to say like, "Huh, I might as well go explore the world." And Deku not realizing it, he's in New York. Not in New York, America. He was in America this whole time. When because Deku tried to pinpoint where he is, but that's when the satellite like blew up, and Deku's thinking back on that. It's like, huh, funny. And Deku realizes that this is the first time he's actually going out of his own volition, not taking orders from anyone. He is his own person. Of course, Deku decides to take the junkyard, and he like saying, "Wait, why is May's like shit over there?" I don't know. Let's just say that she was really young back then, and she made something so advanced, but she couldn't find the power source for it. Basically, I'm guessing she's May. Okay, I don't know what the fucking characters are for like the nerd shit, like the fucking. I know the bulldozer guy, but I don't know who she is. Okay, don't play me. Please don't hate me in the comment section, please. Anyway, guys, if you love this series, I will do part 2. Everyone, this video, I think this may be my finest work ever. But tell me, guys, do you like this this design I'm giving him? If you do, then thank you. And yes, I am making part 2 of Deku vs. Jason. Anyway, I will continue this though. When Deku reaches America, or New York basically, he walks to the city, unnoticed by the police. Cameras are like minding him. Deku already had a backup plan. He'll find a place where the servers are, where the company is, and get into it, blending into the work staff at a CEO. And of course, this place was actually this like Deku plans on going to the military, snapping guard's neck, but Deku tries to pinpoint where the military is. So Deku decides to find a military guard that retired. And Deku asked the guy where the military base is. The guy said, "Well, it's at this coordinates, but have fun getting in." And Deku said, "Oh, I'm gonna get in with ease." However, Deku is smart. He decided to actually, how did I say this? The T-850 is actually driving something. I don't know. But it's a pretty good idea, huh, guys? If he goes to the government and puts the chip in the mainframe, he would have access to everything. Wouldn't you agree? Because the government controls, like, the laws. And Deku said that's a good place to start. So Deku driving up to there, and yes, he did jack a car from the city. When Deku is walking by a guy, Deku bumps into him on purpose, and the guy says, "What the hell, man?" And Deku, like, naps, he's, like, smiling, like, huh. And Deku says, "Wait, when did I learn?" And Deku learned this from watching old tapes in the junkyard. VSH tapes. Jesus, I can't even pronounce them. Deku decides to open the car's door and get in. And the guy's still talking on the phone and is like, "Yeah, some guy bumped into me." And Deku, like, turns the car around, drives all the way to the place. And when Deku gets to the government's center. Deku immediately pulls the car over. He turns the lights off. Since Deku's body heat signature doesn't detect, the cameras don't detect his heat signature or his, I don't know, his movement. Because Deku, since he has the tech within him, he's basically in stealth mode, and Deku just realized that he had a stealth mode. And Deku decides to take one of the guards, and the guard says, "I gotta go take a whiz, man." And the other guard says, "Fine, I'm coming with you because I don't want anything." And the guard just says to explain that if anyone got past us, they would kill us, so I'm coming with you. The other guy going on behind the corner, waiting for the guy to be done taking a piss. Deku proceeds to uncloak himself, grab the guy's throat, and snap it just like this, it's like, and Deku slowly just lets go of him. And the guy's like, dude, are you okay? Oh, and the guy's like, okay, whatever, man. It won't be long. And Deku says, I'm not gonna kill him when he's taking a piss. When the guy's taking a piss, the guy turns to the tree, and he sees his friend's neck snapped. And the guy's about to call security, but Deku grabs his head and, twists around. Deku grabs the two bodies. And Deku decides to, how should I say it? Rip his own face off. Deku rips his own face off and takes the guard's face. And Deku puts his face onto the guard's body, so when Deku comes back out, Deku's all fine. Deku puts on the military clothes and puts on the guy's face. And you guys like, is he a villain? Guys, okay. What do you expect? He's the T-850. Okay, he kills people. So he's a machine, so I don't know what you mean. Deku tells the guard, okay, I'm back. And the guard says, wait, where's your friend? Deku uses a voice changer, change to the guy's voice, and Deku says, sorry, he's still taking a piss. I just don't want away from him. And the guy says, can I have my break now? And the guy says, oh, yeah, sure. You just had a break, though. And the guy's like, yeah, but it's been a long night, you know? And the guy's like, yeah, you're right. The guy opens the gate. And the guy says, well, I'm just going to go talk to the commander. And the guy's like, okay, see you then, man. And Deku walks into the building where the commander is. Deku notices that some of the people all the people aren't there, and the commander's alone. However, Deku did see a camera, but Deku made sure that he destroyed the video recordings. So, the commander's sipping his coffee. He put his feet on the desk. He's like, "This is a long night." Deku decides to choke lock the commander, and just and Deku snaps his neck while choking him, and commander's dead. Deku sees to take the face commander and put his clothes on. I'm doing a video. Okay. Anyway, this today, guys. Anyway, Deku sees to go put on the commander's face and walk out of the building, and the guy says, "I want no one goes into this building. Do you hear me, soldier?" And the guy's like, "Yes, sir." And the guard's like, "Why is commander up all of a sudden?" And the guy didn't want to question his orders, so he listened. Deku going all the way to the level where the mainframe is, but he needs higher access, and he needs access by the superior. So Deku tries to find superior, and Deku said to superior, but there were people there. They were soldiers. Deku told his superior that he needed to talk to him in private. The guards left. As the guards left, the guy's like, "What do you want to talk about?" Deku begins like going up to him, like, "Well, sir, this Deku already destroyed all the footage." You know what? Deku didn't destroy the footage, actually. He didn't destroy the footage down there where the elevator went to. Deku just says, "I'm not really the commander." And Deku grabs his neck, and the guy's he begins grabbing. He's about to shoot his gun, but Deku grabs the gun and crushes it in the guy's hand. And Deku, like, just tilting his hand slightly to the left, breaks the guy's neck. And Deku slowly put his body on the ground so it wouldn't make a sound. And Deku ripped off that guy's face and put it on. And his nanites begin making his face like, like how it's like that. Like that. Like that. Not like Deku's face, but you know what I mean. Deku sees now he's in the superior, and now he has the clearance. And the superior says, "I don't want anyone walking to my office. You hear me, son?" And the guy's like, "Yes, sir." And the guy's like, "Wait, why do you want no one walking into your office?" And the guy says, "Well, I ran out of coffee, you see, so I'm just going to go get more." And Soldier's like, "I understand, sir." Deku swiping the card. "Access granted. Welcome, General Brian." And Dick's like, "Why General fucking Brian? It's so fucking weird." But Deku said, "Whatever." Deku decides to put in the flash drive, and the flash drive began working. It's like doing its magic. Even if someone took it out, the virus. Deku made that into a virus, but it wouldn't. But the mainframe wouldn't detect this as a virus because it would just scan it as like a bot for the system. So Deku decides, "I'm in." And Deku did put something into his body. A transmitter or a signal relay, basically. As Deku leaves, the guard says, "Sir, what were you doing in there?" Only... And the guy's like, I just had this weird feeling that someone was in there. And the guard's like, "I understand, sir." The guy's like, "Well, I'm just gonna get my coffee now," because then Deku decides to go to use the elevator, go to the top, and there's still guard the door. And the guy says, the socialist says, "Sir, what are you doing up here?" The guy's like, "Well, son, I'm just gonna go appreciate the moon." And the soldier's like, "Yes, sir." Deku walks out the gate. The guy's like, "What the fuck? Why did he was just supposed to stand right here?" And the soldier questioning this, he opens the door, and he discovers the lieutenant dead. And the alarm begins raising, and Deku's like, it's like they caught on. Deku needs to take off the captain's mask and throw it out. Deku grabs his face and puts it on. And Deku grabs his clothes and puts them on. As fast as he can, he goes in stealth mode, and Deku's running to the car. Deku gets to the car, he turns the car around, he begins like booking it, making sure his lights are off because he's using thermal vision. Deku just managed to get away from the military. However, the license plate who actually goes to tie with it. But however, Deku made sure that the guy who owns the car wouldn't get in trouble. So Deku decided to remove the license plate and put it into the trunk. And when Deku got back, the guy was like out there saying, "Someone stole my car, sir." And the police saying, "It's your fault." And they didn't care, so. And the guy's like, "But that was my mother's car. That's all I have left of her." And Deku says, "I'll give this car back to him when time's right." When the guy gets home, he's crying to his wife, and he tells his kids that he won't be able to pick him up. However, that's when someone knocks. That's when there's a almost knock on the guy's door. And the guy looks at the keys. He sees his keys and he picks them up and he hits the button. It says, and the guy's like, "Wait, my car was stolen, but the person who stole my car returned it?" And the guy's like, "Huh, I guess there isn't that much bad villains out there." But the guy was suspicious. He began expecting the car, but the car's clean. And the guy's like, "Why? This doesn't make any sense. Why would they steal my car, but not? Why would they steal my car but not sell it?" And Deck is like saying, like, and his head's like hiding in the shadows, like, "I don't do that kind of thing." Like saying to his head. However, the people know what the car looks like, so. But however, there's millions of cars in the world that look like that, so Deck was fine. But Deck decides to take an extra precaution. He decides making like a jet out of the junk, but making it more future tech-ish. And of course, Deku, if we're only guys, yes, what if Deku was a T-850? What if Deku was a T-1850? Oh my goodness, imagine how OP he would be, boys. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video off here. If you guys really like this video, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, then subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, then you don't want to subscribe. I don't care. I just want to do what ifs because I like you guys. You always enjoy my videos. You show support. I like you guys. But anyway, hope you like this video. I'll talk to you all later.